What is a complete human? Is it a cover model? Is it a science geek? Is it a fitness expert? Or all of the above and more? Janna and Evan are crusaders that walk the earth looking at today's issues that touch our hearts and minds. The honest and hopeful outlook on the advancement of today's society. The science behind the decay of human relationships. The necessary preparations for future generations. Join us as we look deep inside ourselves and embark on a journey into becoming a complete human.
What boundaries do we set with business and personal?
Never let the other person see you pee.
Never?
Never.
No. Evan doesn't like to share.
This is one of those weird things, right? I just, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, sound off on this one. Please let me know if you're with me or against me. But I think that there's kind of like, there's intimacy and then there's too much comfort with someone. There's nothing sexy about that. Now, granted, I know that there's probably a website where people want to see that type of stuff.
Right.
But that's not a website that I'm going to go to. Yeah. I don't enjoy that. I like that separation. I like that line. I like a closed bathroom door.
So that is your solution with the boundaries.
There might be there might be another. It's nurturing intimacy. As far as boundaries go, I think that the one that we've done, we've been really good at is like, if there's a problem, it's calling a timeout and saying, hey, I need to go for a walk. I need to go spend some time by myself, and recognizing that, we don't have to solve all of the world's problems today or that moment. It's giving each other the space to process and to grow. I think boundaries, that's a really good question. I haven't really thought of that, but what are yours?
Well, I also think about it in the context of balancing work and just outside of work life, right? I mean, we're entrepreneurs. We live and breathe this. We wake up thinking about work. We go to bed thinking about work. We dream about work. It's just like, we're very excited and dedicated to all this. And so I feel like sometimes it is hard to have that separation between work and personal, right? Even when we go out to dinner, like if we go on a date or something, like we're both still excited to talk about work. And sometimes I feel like we almost need to make more of a separation between like just separating those things out. Mm-hmm. But it's as two people doing business together and doing an entrepreneurial, adventure basically together, it is sometimes challenging to completely separate things out. But that's the thing. If you really like what you do and if you like who you're doing it with, it's not the worst thing.
I like doing it with you.
Good. I like doing it with you too.
Good. Okay. That's, like I said, it's boundaries are always a weird thing. I think one of the other things that has been very exciting about our relationship is the communication, the ability to say, okay, let's talk about this. Let's work through this. One of the things that I found in previous relationships is I was always so afraid to not be myself because I was afraid that person wouldn't like me. And so I was always more placating than I was authentically being myself. And in that, I lost myself to a lot of relationships. And oftentimes I came across as a very inauthentic version of myself. And so in this relationship, it's been really exciting to be able to be like, this is it. This is how I'm feeling. Like, I don't want to see you pee. And know that that's, whether or not you agree with me, you accept me. And versus whether or not I agree with you, I accept you for who you are. And there's a liberating but yet very congealing element to that type of communication.
Mm-hmm. I have to agree. This is definitely the most freeing relationship I've ever been in. And also safe in many ways, but safe just to talk about like what's really happening in your minds or our feelings or whatever. And I feel like having that safe space to be able to have that with someone really allows for a deepening of intimacy and almost like it makes it easier. It makes it easier to do business and life with someone when you have that safety and that comfort to do so.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice.
How do you overcome challenges?
I told myself after my divorce, if there's anything, if I'm feeling uncomfortable, if I'm feeling something, if I have an insecurity, if I have whatever, a thought, some uncomfortable thing going on, I make myself bring it up, when before I would shove it in, I'd stuff it down, I wouldn't say anything. So overcoming challenges in our relationship and for me is really just going there, is just doing the challenge, like not ignoring it, not shutting it down, going there and recognizing that we're in a safe place and we're in a safe relationship to, it's okay. It's okay to feel or think certain things. And if you want to talk about it with someone, you can. And if you're in the right relationship, that will be accepted and you won't be shut down. So, that's how I do it.
Cool.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, same thing. It's open lines of communication, but it's also recognizing that there are things that are beyond our control. And one of the things that I remember early on in being in a relationship with you was, obviously you're a moderately attractive human being on Instagram and you get a lot of dick pics.
I'm just thinking, I haven't gotten one in a long time.
That's not a solicitation, boys and girls.
And girls.
Or girls, that would be weird. Boys.
Now that I'm like thinking, no, it's actually been like really, really long time.
You generate a lot of interest from members of the opposite sex. And so, that was one of those things where it was like, it wasn't an insecurity, but it was, how do I feel about, someone, people constantly reaching out to you, men constantly reaching out to you. Can I take you out? Can I buy you whatever? I mean, and I mean, there's a weird element of social media anyway, and I think that that's probably a much bigger podcast, is how do people navigate a relationship within social media? But that was one that was a challenge for me, and I really appreciated the way that we both communicated about the challenges of social media in a relationship. And it's not like it's a one and done conversation. It's the ability to okay, well, I'm feeling something. Let's talk about it again. And it's not that we have to rehash the same thing again and again and again. It's just, it's those subtle, it just doesn't sit well, with me. It's like, why is John sending you a wiener pic again? It's, that's 3 times this week. 2 is the max.
2.
John, are you listening?
0 is the max.